Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to our impromptu session here. So, why we're coming up here with my friend Jagathis is for us to launch a new podcast. Not my podcast, it's Jack's podcast. It's called Each One Teach One, E1T1. So, here we have over here Jagathis to explain more about this podcast and also a bit more about herself. So, Jagathis, welcome and welcome to the session. And thank you for coming over to the session.
Yes, Siva, thank you very much, and thank you to all the viewers today. This is my first time coming up on a podcast as well. I mean, not podcast yet, we'll be doing the
Mhm.
podcast later on. But then I was thinking of having an intro today because on the 1st of August, when I appeared on Astro, the time was so limited, I could not
Yeah.
explain much about my ebook and
Hmm.
also the hobbies that I've been holding on to for a long time. So then I thought to myself, how am I going to do this? And that's when you all came to help me out. Since we are all under the Global Empowerment Summit, we are going to do the podcast on Saturdays from next week
Yeah.
onward. This is
Yeah.
only an introduction for me today.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah, you
Thank
are.
you, Jack. Yep. Thank you, Jack. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for explaining to the audience why we're doing this. And well, Jack, the first question I want to ask you is why the name each one teach one?
That's a good question. I've been holding on to this quote of mine for a long time after
Mm-hmm.
I heard it from one of another platform. And then
Yes.
I told myself, okay, this is what I need to do it from now on. Before this, I used to talk, all my key principles were all about dedication, discipline, and devotion. But then
Mm-hmm.
now I changed my principle because as I'm growing older, I thought of giving all my resources to the younger generation. So
Yes.
I was also very keen about this code because if we can teach a person, you can teach me, you are today you're teaching me how to do this podcast. I'm sure I
Mm-hmm.
can do it for the rest of my friends. So that's how it works. You teach me one day, then I teach
Yeah.
another person. So that's how this code works.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much, Jack. I mean, thank you so much for coming up with this beautiful name because as a teacher myself, I feel so touched when you choose this title. I feel so touched. Honestly, feel so touched. And when you mention the name each one teach one, I remember a wonderful quote by Confucius, who said that if you give a fish to a person, they can live for a day. But if you teach a person how to fish, they can live for a lifetime. So what you're doing here is a very noble thing, Jack. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eva.
So
Thank you.
so Jack, so your podcast name is E1T1, each one teach one. So what will this podcast be about?
Okay, first of all, it's all about my hobbies. And at
Mm-hmm.
this age, if I could hold on to a hobby which is helping me in my life, because I'm
Yes.
all alone at home now. My husband
Mm-hmm.
passed away. My two girls
Okay.
are also working abroad. And
Mm-hmm.
I've got nothing next to look forward but to
Mm-hmm.
do to pass my time. I decided to take out all my past hobbies such as the stamp collection, coin collection, and
Mm-hmm.
then the paper cutting. I used to have the paper cutting from Utusa, Malaysia. Every daily,
Mm-hmm.
they have Fakta Fakta Dunia. They call that the Fakta
Yes.
Fakta Dunia.
Yes.
It's on the left hand side, right hand side of the paper. So I've cut
Mm-hmm.
all those, all the important ones. I've already pasted on my book. It's a scrapbook, I should call that. So it's
Yes.
all still with me, but heaven, no one has seen it besides my
Mm-hmm.
two children. So I do not know
Wow.
how to share my resources. Then that's how I was thinking, what am I going to do? And then under the Global Empowerment Summit, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you know about Uduma, one of the
Udunma,
African.
yes. Udunma,
Uduma.
yes. Uh-huh.
She was talking about ebook, then I got carried away with that. And now
Wow.
ebook.
Yes.
I told myself, okay, let me do all my savings, whatever hobbies that I have, I'll translate or I will put into an ebook, and that's how the ebook is, with all
Mm-hmm.
my hobbies in detail from the
Wow.
age of 15, that means 1975 until today. I'm holding it dear to my heart. I do not want
Wow.
to throw even one stem, so I do not want to throw. You see, because
Mm.
it stems quite a lot. If we keep in the stem album, it's so that is a culture that we buy stamp books and we keep all the stamps, right? But
Yes.
nobody
Mm.
wants to take and see. If I hang it on the
Yeah.
wall, those who are walking itself, they will say, "Wow, this is nice." And that framing idea, I got it when I was in London last year. I walked
Mm-hmm.
into a restaurant. The minute I walked into the restaurant, the stamp was already framed and it was hanging there on the
Mm-hmm.
wall. I told myself, wow, this is really
Yeah.
great idea, and I'm going to do that soon. Besides that, I'm also doing my jigsaw puzzle, which is
Mm-hmm.
5,000 pieces. So these are all those that should help any senior citizens to keep themselves occupied.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Wow.
so, mm, yeah.
Wow, Jack. I mean, they there is a perfect quote to to explain about you, which is Jack of all trades. But since I'm talking to a lady, to a woman, it's not Jack, it's Jane of all trades. Because like you are doing from scrapbook to stamp collection, to what else? What mentioned jigsaw puzzle. So yeah,
And
you
also,
just like and also.
and also some drawing and painting, coloring, all this will come into my hobbies. All these are
Wow.
my
So.
pastime. Yes, it's really good.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's important like person like you, Jack, to come online and explain about especially STEM collection, because like being a teacher, I do have some projects for my student where I would normally tell my students, okay, prepare a scrapbook about this. They'll say, sir, what's the scrapbook? They will not know. You're talking about like students like 10, 11 years old. They do not know what a scrapbook is.
Yes,
And
true.
so so I think if my students can see about you explaining what a scrapbook is and how easy to do it, I think it will definitely benefit them in a way. And also one more thing, Jay, I need to say about stamp, because like I can bet not many Gen Zs knew or know what is a stamp, because like
Yeah.
I mean they know the stamp, but they do not have the realization that what is the uses of stamp and how we can collect stamp and make a collection. Because nowadays Gen Z, they are more into screen, phone, online games, all these things. So it's time
Not
it's
only that, not
yeah.
only that, you are,
Mhm.
because why nowadays we don't do any physical postage. Those
Yes.
days everything is by mail. We have to post a
Yes.
letter, everything.
Hmm.
So in the office, we used to have a lot of envelopes, getting
Hmm.
letters and so on. So that's when
Yeah.
I used to cut all the stamps and keep. And then
Yes.
that's one way to keep the stamp collection. And then,
Hmm.
while for the coin collection, I also started a bit late. But I have to tell you something else about the stamp collection. Since
Yes,
my
Jack.
father is a newspaper vendor, he used to
Mm-hmm.
come back with all the balance papers, and then we are supposed to read four papers
Mm-hmm.
daily.
Mm-hmm.
That is the English paper, Tamil paper, and two Malay papers, English,
Wow.
Malay, and Tamil paper. So when I
Mm-hmm.
was reading the Straight Times sometime back when I was still in Form 3, if I'm not mistaken, because I started at the age of when I was 15 years old, I was
Mm-hmm.
reading the papers. Then I saw the British Council making a, a, a column there. They said those who are interested in collecting stamps, we can
Mm-hmm.
write to them and send a bank draft, not bank draft, what postal order,
Postal order,
postal order,
yes.
postal
Yeah.
order for the money, and then
Mm-hmm.
we'll send it to them, and they will send the stamp. So when I saw that, I was so curious to know how it works. So anyway, I
Mm-hmm.
take the paper cutting. I went to the post office. I told them I want to buy these sets of stamp, and they're
Mm-hmm.
asking me to take a postal order, and I do not know how to go about it. Those
Yeah.
days, we were all very timid, you see. So then
Mm-hmm.
my postman said, okay, do you have 5 ringgit? Then he did 5 ringgit something for the stamps, everything. 550 I
Mm-hmm.
gave him. He gave me a piece of paper which says that British Council for the stamp collector,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Mm-hmm.
cost 5 ringgit. And then he said, put this into an envelope, put the paper cutting inside as well. So if I put the paper cutting, I don't have a copy. And those days we never had the handphone to take photos and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to
Yeah.
take a photos there put into take the photocopy with me and the paper cutting and put into the envelope and send it to the British Council
Mm-hmm.
in KL while I lived
Wow.
in Penang, you see. So after
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, I got the stamps from them. I tell you, I was so
Wow.
happy to receive the stamps. It was so well organized, you know. It came in a small booklet, as big as our
Mm-hmm.
handphone. The size of the
Mm-hmm.
book was slightly bigger
Mm-hmm.
than a handphone. And that was the happiest moment. And I was talking about it to my parents in school, everyone. And that
Mm.
instilled few of my friends to start collecting stamps as well. I'm talking about close to 40 years ago.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
I mean, yeah. I mean, Jack. Like, when you mention male, there is a nickname. They many people in the olden days they call it a nickname. They call it snail mail.
snail
snail
mail, yeah.
snail mail
Uh,
because number
yes,
one it
jigsaw.
rhymes ale and ale, snail and mail, and number two, just because like the mail takes a long time to respond, like a snail, that's why I call it snail mail.
Yes, true. Agree with you. Very nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I think yeah, I mean, you mean Jack? I mean Jack, like within my, I can notice, I can see there's a decline of avid stamp collectors, not just from the past generation, within my lifetime itself, within my lifetime, because I myself, I used to collect stamp when I was younger, and then as I go to my teens, I stopped for some reason. I do not know why I stopped. I now I regret it. I should collect it again. But now, if you see youngsters, I mean, like from from the age of 5, and I'm now 35. So within 30 years, there's a sharp decline of people collecting stamp. I mean, they are still, but not as popular as before, because now there's a new kind of hobby, more like electronic, like digital, like, as I say, the
Yes,
devices, the screen.
yes.
So I think it's time we have to bring it back. Do some physical collection, like stamps, um, or maybe coin, as you mentioned, old coins as well. So yeah, hopefully through this podcast, we can know more about your collection. And yeah, since this is also involving video, you can also show maybe one of your two collections to the audience, so they can see, wow, what a wonderful collection you have.
Yeah. You want me to show it now itself?
Uh,
I have to walk behind and take that
Maybe,
part.
yeah, maybe just one, because like we still have another few minutes, so we can
Yeah,
just,
I'll bring it
yeah,
up.
just a little sneak peek, yeah, a sneak peek, teaser. So while you're waiting for Jack, so yeah, I mean, like nowadays, like stamp collecting or collecting old coins or even postcards, photos, it's quite rare. It's now a part of a little rarity, because yeah, because now the Gen Zs are more towards e-game and e-game, and also devices, and also TikToking or something else. So it's less on the physical side, but more on digital. So I think youngsters especially should be exposed to gain exposure about this thing. So okay, Jack, we have Jack back here. So let's see
Yes.
what does she have.
Okay.
Hmm.
Can you see
Okay,
this?
maybe okay. It's a bit. Oh wow, I can see a okay. Maybe a bit closer to the camera, Jack.
Okay. Wait.
Wow, these are all stamps, Jack.
Yeah, these are stamps. Can you see one with the Baju Kuro?
Oh, wow,
Can
nice.
you see
Yes,
the Baju
wow.
Kuro?
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, that's something very unique. That's in Malaysia.
Yes.
And
Wow.
then the other one is um, I got another book where I have all the royal families collection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, royal family means Princess Diana's wedding and so on. Let
Mm.
me show the coins first. If I knew you wanted to see, I would have taken it earlier. Yeah, it comes
Yeah,
like
but
this.
yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
There is. This is the
Okay.
first day cover. It's the first day cover.
Wow. Oh, this is
Okay.
the Prince Harry and
So,
Meghan Markle, right?
yes, their
Wow.
coins are all inside here.
Commemorative coins. Wow, that's so cool. That's so nice. Well,
Yeah.
Jack, yeah, but you do, but Jack, don't show all now. Don't show all now because like we have a podcast. We have a podcast, so you have to keep it podcast going. Otherwise, we will end now itself. So we don't want that to happen.
Okay.
It'll be a premature end to a podcast. So we
Wow.
you don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
So
okay, good.
maybe we should hold our horses first, and maybe we should time it so that since we have about few episodes in planning, so you can use that to show about collection. And I believe every stamp or every coin you have there has its own story. So we will go deeper into that in the upcoming episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
So
when you
so
earlier you said that you have been collecting stamps but you do not collect anymore. Actually, if you
yes,
still continue, you can put them for sales under the auction. You can be a,
yes,
you can pick up the stamp collection as a what do you call the what they call that the stamp collecting
philately.
for the
Is it
auction
philately?
for the yeah Philadelphia. But they
Yes.
have a club. They have a club where you
Mm-hmm.
can join the club to sell all these stamps. That's what I do.
Wow.
Join that.
Yeah.
So it's all
And
revenue. Return in return, you can get a better revenue lah.
yeah, and I mean, Jack, not just stamp, because like, I've seen a viral clip where there's a shop buying old coin. They say if you have the 50 cent coin of 19, they want a particular year, 1971 50 cent coin.
Mm-hmm.
They it goes up to 1,000 ringgit.
Yes, 1971.
So I used now I regret why I stopped collecting stamps and all coins. I should have done. I should have continued that. But yeah, Jack, we will talk more in a upcoming episode. So this one just a little teaser, a little introduction to your podcast, E1T1 podcast, which, as you say, will be going live every Saturday evening. Yeah, audio and video. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay, that's good.
yes,
That's
you are.
good.
Thank you very much for the day. And
Okay.
I'll do whatever I can just to
Mm-hmm.
promote for the younger generation to foster
Yeah.
reading habits, to foster their
Yes.
hobbies, you know,
Yes.
even for those who are involved in with the computer knowledge, they can
Mm-hmm.
also do many things like how I've learned
Absolutely.
everything about computer.
Yeah.
Now I know how to
Mm-hmm.
use Canva, Movavi, Flimfora, Chat GPT, everything that is the latest technology I need to know so that I can keep up
Yes.
with them as well. Yeah, you are.
Yes. Yes,
Thank you
Jack.
very much.
Well, Jack, before we end our session for today, is there any last words you want to tell to the audience?
Yeah, I hope all the audience today and the future ones would watch me showing off, showcasing my hobbies and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and then we will continue from there. I might have my
Okay.
episode one, two, three, and go on. See how far I can go on with my episodes.
Okay.
If I could finish all, then it would be good and nice.
Okay. All right. Thank
So,
you so much, Jack. Thank you
okay.
so much, Jack. Thank you for your time, and we are excited to know more about your collection and the stories behind the collections they have. So, audience, thank you for this short session today. And our the podcast will be going live on next week Saturday onwards. So this will be a little introduction, which will also be online, which also will go online as well. So until we meet the first episode on next week Saturday, till then, take care and goodbye. Bye, Jack.
Bye. Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Take
Goodbye.
care. Bye bye.